I would like to start this video by saying there's no way I'm doing this in rhyme. The Fright Before Christmas. This episode is one of my favorite episodes of Danny Phantom. I actually was going to do this episode last year as a collab, but that fell through and I'm not bothering with it this year. So this episode tells the story about why Danny hates the holidays and his journey to be okay with it. So the episode begins with Sam being cheery.
Merry Christmas, Mikey.
You are being cheery? It's a trap! It's a trap!
We also see Danny in a bad mood.
I hate the holidays!
Tucker alludes to why Danny is in a bad mood, and we see his parents fighting about whether or not Santa is real. Danny then goes to blow off steam in the ghost zone, where we meet the ghostwriter, who has written a Christmas poem. We see Danny blasting Christmas decorations when he accidentally blasts the ghostwriter's book, destroying the only copy. This is why I do all my writing on Google Docs. Danny realizes that he destroyed a Christmas poem and is happy with it. So the ghostwriter places Danny in a Christmas poem, and Danny is sent back to the mall.
Wait, I'm trapped in his poem? Now I'm really annoyed!
Danny is the only one that can hear the writer and knows that he's in the book. Danny is now being forced to go through the poem until he learns his lesson. The writer leaves him with his freedom because if he didn't, Danny wouldn't learn anything. And with this freedom, Danny tries to explain to his friends that the writer has them trapped.
Now he's writing a new one. We're trapped in by force!
But Tucker and Sam merely shrugged in confusion.
Tucker then explains how Danny's Christmases have gone throughout the years.
Spoiled, I should say, brought the turkey to life.
So the writer starts screwing with Danny by turning all of the reindeer into ghosts. Danny transforms and starts fighting, fails, and the shoppers blame him. Later, we see Danny's parents still fighting, and Danny tries to find a way around the poem.
And he said to the writer,
There's no poem if I'm silent!
Can't you make Dad not fight her?
I'd just like to say, seeing Danny snap in this episode is really funny because he brought this on himself. And while there's an argument as to if the ghostwriter goes too far for some people, I think everything so far is done really well. So Danny's had enough of his parents fighting and runs off. The ghostwriter then steals all the presents and blames Danny. Danny again tries to get out of the poem by going to Sam's house where the writer stole all of Sam's presents and blames on Danny before creating a giant nutcracker made out of all of the toys. So Danny starts blasting away and destroys the nutcracker along with all the toys and presents it was created by. This gets Danny's friends and sister to turn on him. Everyone turns on Danny except for one kid that the writer attacks with a tree. That one I think is too far. So back at Danny's house, we see his mother go out to find Danny, who is blasting away at the trees. His mom calls out for him to scream, and we get the ghostly wail.
Danny, thank heavens! When your dad saw the news, we stopped squabbling and hurried. It's Christmas Eve, son. Home is where you should be.
So after getting home, Danny goes off to find the writer and is forced into a room with all of his enemies. They all have a truce where on Christmas they don't fight, and Danny reveals that the ghostwriter has broken the truce, so they all go to fight. The writer gets some fighting before Danny breaks the spell with an orange.
Ah, crud! Nothing rhymes with orange!
So Danny fights the writer and destroys the writer's keyboard, expecting the poem to end. It doesn't, because it only ends when the writer ends it, which he can't without his keyboard, or when Danny learns his lesson, which is what the writer wants. So Danny flies off and we see him wandering the streets of Amity Park. His friends come out and find him where we get this sentiment.
It's Christmas, so why are you here?
It's my fault, all my fault, what happened tonight. I spoke out in anger and acted in spite, but I'd give all I have to set everything right.
You see the gift starts floating and all of Danny's enemies show up. They help fix everyone's Christmases. So after fixing everyone's Christmas, Danny is left to fix his family's Christmas, and now that Danny has learned his lesson, the poem finally ends.
And that's when I thought, maybe this is the moral. I was so busy whining, I started abusing the ones I loved most. I'll try to be better come Christmas next year.
So that was The Fright Before Christmas. This is a great episode, 8 out of 10 material, and the ghostwriter might be the best antagonist Danny Phantom's ever had, because despite him screwing with Danny and causing havoc, he only did what he did because a 14-year-old kid destroyed something he worked really hard on, and in the end, he also didn't do much harm beyond teaching Danny a lesson and running over Mr. Lancer with a toy train, because everything was put back at the end of the story. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, if you want to support this channel, the best way is to subscribe and like the video. Also, if you want to see me review something, leave your suggestions in the comments below, and if you want to see each episode early, I have a Patreon, and it's only $1 a month to get everything early. Thanks for watching.